A moment in history and a point of no return.
The ayes 52 and the noes 19.
Parliament today legally fired the starting gun on the Voice to Parliament referendum. The vote following a fiery final debate in the Senate.
It's risky, it's unknown, it's divisive and it's permanent. If you don't know how the Voice is going to work, my humble opinion is vote no.
Well, happy Assimilation Day. I can't support something that gives my people no power.
This change to the Constitution does not impact our sovereignty, my sovereignty. And I would not be standing up here in support of this bill if I had any doubt in my mind that it would.
It's appeasing the white guilt in this country by giving the poor little blackfellas a powerless advisory body.
Just because you got your cave paintings and your dream time and you have this connection with the land, what about my connection with this land?
I'm confident that Australians will respond with the honesty, generosity and belief in a fair go that we are known for around the world.
The referendum now in the hands of the yes and no campaigns.
Today, the political debate ends.
It is time for the grassroots yes campaigners to get out there in the community and share with all Australians why this referendum is so important.
We will be further divided throughout this campaign. And if the yes vote is successful, we will be divided forever.
A lot of Australians, they are still very, very confused about what this means to them and future generations.
The PM required to set a date for the vote, no sooner than 2 months, no later than 6, many tipping October as the time Australians will get to have their say.
The truth is that for most people it will have no direct impact on their lives, but it just might make lives better of the most disadvantaged group in Australia today.
But more than a year after the PM first announced the referendum, support for yes has fallen from 53 to 49%, and the debate looks certain to become increasingly difficult and divisive.
The Prime Minister wants us to blindly trust him, to sign his blank cheque.
We've got the balance right. It is just that, an advisory body. But voice is a powerful word because it will give First Nations people a voice.
Labor Senator Malarndirri McCarthy joins us now. Senator, today was the official start to the referendum process and you're proposing a change to the Constitution, our founding document. Can you tell Australians why this needs to happen and needs to happen now?
Hi, Sarah. Look, it's an important day. It's a momentous one, and I certainly thank all senators for their decency in the debate that we had, and certainly for the vote that we had today in the passage of the bill. The Prime Minister said on the night that we won the election that Australians would be going to a referendum. We actually took it to the election, Sarah, and in winning the election, we knew that we had to stay with what it was that we took to the Australian people.
Senator, I think many Australians probably are still trying to make up their mind about this. We've seen the most recent Closing the Gap figures. On so many of the key indicators, there's a huge gulf between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. For Indigenous Australians under 40, the leading cause of death is intentional self-harm. How would a voice to Parliament, in a concrete way, change those outcomes?
Hamish, this will give First Nations people a chance to be involved in any legislation or policy that impacts them, and they will have an opportunity if we are successful in this referendum. And I say if, because we still have a long journey ahead of us to win it. But if we do win it, then First Nations people will be able to have a say on any legislation and policy that impacts them here in the Australian Parliament. And we've not had that before.
But how does that lead to changes in those terrible outcomes?
Well, unless you include the very people that you're trying to assist in improving the disadvantage, unless you include them, then you're actually excluding them. And this is really the crux of the matter. First Nations people want to be very much at the table and not only for one government but for all governments. Hence the reason for going to the Constitution, so that whoever's in power, First Nations people will always be able to have a say about the policies and legislation that impacts them.
Senator, you must be worried about how this is going to divide the country. You saw in our package there, we saw Senator Hanson, Senator Thorpe, and we saw Michaelia Cash. I mean, that's not unity in the Senate.
Well, it's democracy in action, isn't it? I mean, that's the wonderful thing about our country, that we can speak about the matters that we wish to do so. But so long as we do so in a respectful way and in a dignified way, I have every confidence that Australians will reach into and discern deeply within them what it is that First Nations people have asked them. And I sincerely hope that we will be able to come out the other side of this as a country more united than ever.
Senator McCarthy, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you.